Lesson 8, I will use place value disc to represent 3 and 4 digit by 1 digit multiplication. So lesson 8 is a continuation of lesson 7, which you should have already noticed whenever you did your Zern lesson. But in lesson 7, we were doing 2 digit by 1 digit multiplication, and in this lesson we are doing 3 and 4 digit by 1 digit multiplication. We are representing it using place value disc and partial products. All right, so go ahead and write your name on your problem set. And then let's take a look at the directions for number 1. Represent the following expressions with disc, regrouping as necessary, writing a matching expression, and recording the partial products vertically, as shown below. All right, so let's go ahead and represent with disc. So we've got 213. So I'm going to go ahead and put 2 hundreds, 1 10, 3 ones. And this is times 1. So we have 1 times 2 hundreds, 1 times 110, and 1 times 3 ones. So 1 times 3 ones is equal to 3. 1 times 110 is equal to 10. And 1 times 2 hundreds is equal to 2 hundreds. So if you remember from our last lesson, these are called partial products. We're going to add them all together to get the total product for 213 times 1, which obviously is going to be 213. All right, let's take a look at B. So this time we have 213 times 3. So let's put 2 hundreds, 110, 3 ones. That's times 1, and this is 213 times 2. So we've got 2 times 2 hundreds, and it's okay to abbreviate hundreds, plus 2 times 2 tens, plus 2, oh, this isn't 2 tens, I'm sorry, this should be 2 times 110. Two times 3 ones. Okay, so I've got 2, 1, 3. Good. Okay, so now we're going to record this vertically. So I have 213 times 2. So I start with 2 times 3 ones, and then I have 2 times 1 10, and then I have 2 times 2 hundreds. So 2 times 3 ones is 6. 2 times 110 is 20. 2 times 2 hundreds is 400. And when I add all of this together, I get 426, just like I have over here. 426. Okay, let's try C. All right, so let's put our 200s. If you feel like you don't need to do this with me, you can do it by yourself. Go right ahead and pause the video. But if you'd like to go ahead and just work one more with me, just stay with me, and we'll do this one together too. So I've got 214 times 2. Now I've got 214 times 3. So I've got 3 times 2 hundreds plus 3 times 110 plus 3 times 4 ones. Okay, so let's write this vertically. So I have 214 times 3. So I start with 3 times 4 ones, 3 times 110, 3 times 2 hundreds. This would be 12. This would be 30. And this would be 600. So let's go ahead and add 2, 4, and 6. So that gives me 642. But if you look over here, we can do a little bit of regrouping because I actually have 12 ones over here. So I'm going to go ahead and change colors, and I'm going to bundle 10 of these ones. And I'm going to make a 10 out of 10 ones. And then let's see what we have here. So now I have 6 hundreds, 4 tens, 2 ones. So we have the same answer for C in our place value chart and also in our vertical multiplication sentence. All right, so let's take a look at D. So I'd like for you to try to do as much of D by yourself as you can, and then let's come back and check together. Okay, so hopefully you at least put the place value disk and the place value chart by yourself, because I know that you're capable of doing that all by yourself. So let's take a look at what mine looked like. So I had 1,000, 200s, 5 10s, and 4 1s, and I had that 3 times. So I wrote 3 times 1,000, 3 times 200s, 3 times 5 10s, and 3 times 4 1s. So then when I got ready to write my problem vertically, I had 3 times 4 1s. So 3 times 4, if I come over here, that is equal to 12. 3 times 5 10s is equal to 15 10s, which is written 150. 3 times 200s is 600. And 3 times 1,000 is 3,000. So now I'm ready to add. So I have 2, 6, 7, 3. So that's 3,762. But when I come back over here, I can do some bundling because I have 12 ones. I can take 10 of these ones and I can bundle them together to make a 10. I can take 10 10s and bundle them together to make another 100. So now that gives me 3,000s, 700s, 6 10s, and 2 1s. So I have 3,762 in my place value chart and 3,762 in my multiplication algorithm. All right, so let's take a look at problem number 2. It says represent the following expressions with disk. Use either method shown during class, regrouping as necessary. To the right, record the partial products vertically. Okay, so this time we're going to use a different strategy just like you did in Zearn. You started with a strategy just like we did in problem number 1. For problem number 2, we're going to try the second strategy that you did in Zearn, and then you get to choose which one you like the best. So I'm going to start by drawing a place value chart. So I'm going to go ahead and make 3 places in my place value chart like this. I have the advantage that I can go ahead and do this just because it'll look a little bit neater. So let's go ahead and make our place value chart. You can just freehand yours. This is just so that you can read mine a little bit better. All right, so let's start right here with 1s, 10s, and 100s. Okay, so let's go ahead and write over here 212 times 3. I think you'll find that this strategy is just a little bit faster, which is kind of nice. So what we're going to do is instead of doing 212 3 times, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and multiply the 1s, the 10s, and the 100s. So we're going to go ahead and divide our place value chart into 3 groups. And the first group is going to be 3 times 2 1s. What is 3 times 2 1s? That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 1s. I'm going to go ahead and record that. 6 1s. Now I'm going to do 3 times 1 10. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3 10s. Notice I went 1 place lower to do this one. So 3 times 1 10 is 30. So we're still doing the same strategy. We're just kind of taking out some of that writing. So now we have 3 times 200, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 600. So we're going to go ahead and add 600, and that gives me a total of 636. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw arrows here so you can see that this is the 1s, this is the 10s, this is the 100. So we ended up with a total of 600. All right, let's do one more together. All right, so let's go ahead and do 4,036 times 2. I'm going to pause the video while I create my chart. Okay, so I went ahead and drew my place value chart, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to write my multiplication problem vertically using standard multiplication algorithm. So I've got 4,036 times 2. This time I'm going to have 4 lines because I have 1s, 10s, 100s, and 1000s. I do notice I have a 0 in there, so I may end up not using one, but that's okay. So let's go ahead and start with 2 times 6 1s. So I've got 6 1s 2 times. What is 6 times 2 or 2 times 6? That's 12, right? So 12 is 1 10 and 2 ones. So I'm going to go ahead and put 12. And I'm going to go ahead and draw a line right here. Now I'm going to do 2 times 3 tens, which is 60. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to go ahead and draw that right here. 60. Now I'm going to do 2 times 0 hundredths. Well, 2 times 0 is 0, so I'm going to leave this blank and I'm not going to put anything here. So now I'm going to do 2 times 4 thousandths, which is 8,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8,000. Notice how I kept my ones and tens and hundreds lined up. Now I'm going to add this together. I have 2, 7, 0, and 8. So I have 8 thousands, no hundreds, 7 tens, 2 ones. 8,072. This is a comma, by the way, not a 1. 8,072. All right, let's take a look at C. If you feel like you like to try to do C all by yourself, pause the video and try to do as much of it as you can. If you'd like to go ahead and do it with me, just stay with me and we'll do it together. I am going to pause the video while I create my place value chart, so go ahead and be drawing yours too. Okay, so I've got my place value chart written. Now I'm going to write my multiplication sentence. I've got 2,546 times 3. I'm going to go ahead and divide my place value chart into 4 sections. So I have room, oops, that's a little messy. So I have thousands, hundreds, tens, and ones. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the ones. I have 3 times 6 ones. What is 3 times 6 ones? That is 18, right? So let's put 1 10 and 8 ones. 18. So I'm going to come over here, and right here I'm going to draw 18. Now I've got 3 times 4 tens. 3 times 4 tens is 120. So I'm going to go ahead and put 100, 2 tens, which is 120. Now I'm going to do 3 times 5 ones, or excuse me, 3 times 5 hundredths, which is 15 hundredths, which is 1,500. And last, I'm going to do 3 times 2,000, which is 6,000. I'm going to come over here and put my 6 thousandths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm going to add all of my partial products together, and that gives me 8, 3, 6, and 7, 7,638. When I come over here, I have 7 thousandths, 6 hundredths, 3 tens, 8 ones. So I have the same amount in both places. All right, we have one more. If you would like, I'd like for you to pause the video and do as much of this one by yourself as you can. If this new strategy is confusing to you and you want to go back to the strategy that we did back here, feel free to do this strategy too. It will get you the same answer. This one just takes a little bit longer. It's not quite as efficient, but until you're ready, if you understand this strategy but you don't understand the other strategy, please use a strategy that makes the most sense to you. All right, so I'm going to pause the video, and I want you to pause the video too and solve it the best way that you understand. Okay, I began by taking 7 ones times 3, which gave me 21 ones, which you can see that I put over here. And then I had 0 tens times 3, which is 0, so I just skipped that. 4 hundredths times 3 gives me 12 hundredths, and 12 hundredths is the same as 1,002 hundredths. And then I had 1,000 times 3, which gave me 3 thousandths, which I put over here. When I added all of these partial products together, that gave me a total of 4,221. All right, so our last problem here is an application problem. Every day at the bagel factory, Cindy makes 5 different kinds of bagels. If she makes 144 of each kind, what is the total number of bagels that she makes? All right, so we went ahead and read the problem. Now I'm ready to draw something to illustrate this. So since I'm only talking about Cindy, I'm thinking I can go ahead and just do one tape diagram. We're not comparing anything. It says she makes 5 different kinds of bagels. So I'm going to go ahead and divide my tape diagram into 5 parts. And it says that she makes 144 of each kind. So I'm going to label each box 144 to illustrate each different kind of bagel. The question says, what's the total number of bagels that she bakes? So I could add all of these together, or I could use multiplication. I could do 144 times 5. All right, so let's go ahead and multiply these together. Now we could draw a place value chart like we have, but I'm going to go ahead and just solve this using partial products. I've got 4 ones times 5, which is 20 ones. 4 tens times 5, which is 20 tens, and then 100 times 5, which is 5 hundreds. Then I'm going to add all of these together, which gives me 720. So what's the total number of bagels she makes? Cindy makes 720 bagels. All right, so in this whole problem set, we were using place value disc to multiply 3-digit and 4-digit numbers times 1 digit. Now, this was a shortcut. You can choose if you want to use the shortcut, or you can still do the place value chart the way that you always did before and just regroup or bundle 10 together.